up there. It was freezing one weekend, and then the next weekend not so much. So we're glad to switch vibes, to come into Oberhof today. And so we're standing here at the finish. Sprint Cups, excuse me, my face isn't working right now. Sprint Cup is about to start, but I just have to point out this atmosphere of children that are here, because they have been keeping this energy going. Like the MC over there, he's been singing, they've been pumping music, and they've got all the kids from the schools in the area. They like have assigned certain kids to a certain country. So like China was right there, and maybe we'll show them. They had boxes on their heads that looked like a Chinese dragon. And then Canada, we've got Czech Republic, Slovakia, USA, and it's just a great way to make sure that everybody has spectators here and has fans, because when you travel around the world, I mean, it's usually a hometown crowd. So I'm just loving and appreciating what Oberhof has done. So anyways, we're moving into the sprint. So it's a little different with World Championships. Usually with sprint in a normal weekend is they will take the top 15 from the race, and then they will get a chance to race in sprint. Now for World Championships, sprint is on a completely different day. So what they've done is earlier today, they had the qualifications this morning, just a few hours ago. So some of these athletes have they're having to race twice in one day. And so all the athletes had the chance this morning, and then they take the top 15 from the qualifications from this morning. So I was just talking to the Lingers, the Linger brothers, Olympic champions. They're incredible, doubles team. They're working for Austria TV, and they were just telling me, they said, yeah, it's really interesting because it gives a chance for maybe slower people to make it into the sprint, but then also for the faster people, if they have one mistake, then they're out. So for their team, for Austria, Proc, she had a mistake and was disqualified. She was leading, but then got disqualified with her steals and her Kufins, and now she won't be racing in sprint. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. So things get really intense. So we're about to head into sprint, but yeah, our FIL Studio, we're happy to be here. So I've got some commentators. They're going to be commentating this race, Veronica and Tim. I'm going to hand this mic over to you guys because you're much more qualified to talk about how you feel about this race and how it's going to go. So I'm going to hand this over. I'm going to take a little break, and then I will be back. But happy to have you.
Thank you.
We just love, I just love the smaller nations being here, and I just think it's important. So anyways, I'm going to step out because I should stop talking. So here you guys go.
And you're very qualified to host this studio show, I should say, Kate.
Oh, you're
doing a great job. We'll see Kate in just a few minutes. Hi again, everyone. I'm Tim Singer. On a personal note, I am pleased to be commentating on the World Championships 30 years after the first World Championships I ever announced. So we're getting ready for an exciting weekend here in Oberhof, and I'm just as pleased to introduce my co-commentator for this opening race of the World Championship weekend. She has luge fans stretching from Buenos Aires all the way to Western Canada. She's two-time Olympian Veronica Ravenna. Veronica, welcome.
Thank you, Tim. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, happy to have you, and we've got the sprint competition coming up in just a few minutes. From an athlete's perspective, how is this weekend, World Championship weekend, different from the rest of the season?
I think not only do we get an extra week of training, which is a big difference, and you can test a lot of equipment, but especially with the sprint, everyone has a chance to qualify, as opposed to in the World Cup, it's based off of your World Cup standing. Not your World Cup standing, but your World Cup result for that week. So if you're not great at the starts, this gives you a chance to actually qualify based on had you been in a sprint that time. So I think that's a big difference.
And we should say everyone has a chance to qualify, and Veronica missed out by the slightest of margins, just 2 places away from qualifying. I know that that's a little tough, but I'm glad you'll be alongside for the call of the race. This, is it safe to say, is the biggest event on the calendar with the exception of the Olympic Games?
I think for sure, because we have the European Championships and such, but this is definitely the biggest one, and especially being in Germany, we always get a lot of fans and a big spectacle out of it, which is really nice.
Big spectacle indeed. They're expecting, I hear, anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 spectators. You can probably take the last 10 races on your home track in Whistler, except for the Olympics, and you may not have that many spectators.
Yeah.
So
not at all.
They love their competition here. The fans love their luge, but these athletes love this track. Is this going to be a German party?
I would have said yes, but after watching today, I think Austria is really hunting them down.
Okay.
So we never know what will happen.
Anyone else? Any surprise pick? I mean, the sprint generally brings out a Martina Coca or some athlete you wouldn't expect to do well.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Ferlazzo from Australia has been killing it this year, and he's qualified 13 without the best start number, so I think he'll be one to watch for sure.
Lots to watch. We've got the sprint today. We've got an entire weekend of racing, and it's all sandwiched in between our studio show. So to wrap up the first studio show of the weekend, we bring on our hostess. Kate.
Wow.
Veronica and I are headed to the booth. We're just moments away from the start of the race.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Yeah, they got to go get warm and just get ready. Bye, Veronica. Have fun. It's so nice to be at the finish when we get to just like casually talk to people. But I have to point out really quick. So I was just talking to one of the volunteers here, and you'll see the volunteers probably on the live stream. They're all in these orange jackets. So volunteer. They've outfitted them very nicely. And I was talking to one of them, Mario Dietsch. He's here at the finish, and he was saying that his wife loves FIL Studio show, and she wished that she could be here at the race, but her foot was broken. And so I just have to give out to Sandra Dietsch with your broken foot. I hope you're watching FIL today, and we're happy that you love the show and what we're doing. So anyways, we're gonna go get ready. These kids are pumped. I don't know how they're gonna stand out here for this long. I think the kids in Oberhof are just bred a little different, and they can handle this this snow and this cold. But it's going to be exciting. So the sprint, normally for a World Cup, the athletes aren't so excited about sprint, but it's a World Championship medal. So anyone that's a sprint world champion, this happened to Jonas Mueller a few years ago, it changed his career. He was a sprint world champion. So it's a big day for a lot of these athletes, and a World Championship medal is a big deal. And helps with sponsors, helps to support their career going into the future seasons. So anyways, we're gonna have you guys switch over to the live feed. Everyone's getting ready, cameras are getting ready. Yeah, everyone's just getting pumped. So this is gonna kick off our first day of the World Championship weekend here in Oberhof, but we're gonna sign off for a little bit with the FIL Studio. We've got doubles, men's first, and then women's doubles is gonna come up right after them. And then we may see you after then, maybe talk to some people if there's a break in there for the track break. But anyways, welcome to Oberhof, and we're happy to be here. Let's get into some sliding. So switch over to the world feed. I don't know the timing exactly right now, but we're going to start shortly. So grab your coffee if you're watching in America or Canada, and then in Germany, you're so lucky that we're on the same time frame. So go get your snacks and hang out, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Die offizielle Bahnzeit, das ist 12:59 Uhr. Wir fischen Of course, every competition of the FIL starts with the official anthem of the FIL. Föderation International. Das ist die internationale Rennbogenföderation, und die veranstaltet diese Weltmeisterschaften hier in Oberhof. Der erste Wettbewerb Sprint der Doppelsitzer. Zuhört Stefan Handalic und Sebastian Motzka aus Rumänien werden den Wettbewerb eröffnen. Für Sie der Hinweis, ab 16 Uhr im Kurpark das Vorprogramm der nächsten Airport. Da ist Samu wieder mit dabei, da ist Friedrich Hausmann wieder hervorragend moderiert mit dabei. Und ab 18 Uhr haben wir dann die Siegerehrungen heute mit dabei. Der höchste Sportfunktionär für den Sportplatz, die Sportplatz am Stadtpräsident und 1976 Olympiasieger in Fechten.
to